And we are live. Goedendag, good morning, or good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to another DHRME live stream. I'm Kevin.
I'm Rohan, and today we're going to talk about the Sennheiser Profile microphone, which is literally lit.
It's lit with some LEDs on the microphone itself. So yeah, it's and it can be pretty lit too as a product. We're going to talk about it. We're going to start off with that. That as Rowan is going to be pulling up some information on the screen on what this product is all about. Let me just introduce it. So it was released not too long ago, guys, like around a month ago by Sennheiser. It's called the Profile USB microphone. It costs around $129 if you want the base microphone. So that's the microphone on a table, let's say stand, right? But you also get a streaming set, and that's $199. And basically, what you get is the same thing. You don't get the table top stand, but you get a boom arm instead that you can actually clamp onto a desk and move it around. Yeah, that's kind of the difference, guys, between the two, right? So we're looking at about a $70 difference for that boom arm. So it really depends on what kind of setup you're going for. But what makes it extremely accessible for a lot of, creators out there, but even us, right? I think I would be using this very often. I kind of do, and I did for the last several days, is that there's no battery in it. It's fully powered over USB Type-C, which means all you need to do is plug it into your computer. But not only your computer, you can even plug it into your phone. As long as it supports Type-C, it can be powered.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no other setup. There's no app. There's no configurations, nothing. So yeah, you see it up on screen right now. You should be able to see a couple of images of how people are using it. So you see, you see a guy who's clamped it onto the desk. That's pretty much how I have it as well,
Yeah, and how I have
with
it
the
as
boom
well.
arm mic. Yeah. And you do, by the way, hear us through the profile microphone, both of us, Rowan and I.
Yeah. And yeah, hey, Kevin. So I basically wanted to also talk about the special features that this thing has, right? So what I could do is click through onto the microphone. So there, as Kevin said, there are two variants. There's a tabletop one, and there's this kind of streaming set. Uh, and this is the one we have. But the interesting thing about this microphone is it's so beautifully old school, Kevin. That's what I like about it. And but what do I mean by that? There is no app, there is no smart features. There are these three knobs, and that's basically it. And these three knobs give you control over a lot of things. So basically, right up top, before we even get to the three knobs, you have a mute button. And that is beautiful because once you hear me anymore. I'm not sure if you guys could hear me, but I muted myself. And the mute button is also very colorblind friendly, right? We often talk about stuff like this, Kevin. Maybe it doesn't matter to a lot of people, but it matters to a few of us. Um, when it's muted, that red ring comes on. When it's unmuted, there's no light. So whether you see red or not, you can still know it's muted. The top knob actually is the mix of the microphone. So right now it's at about 70% for me. But if I put it all the way down, I would probably not be very clear to you guys. So there, I've brought it back to my normal level. It also has a nice clip indicator. If it's too loud, it clips and it glows red, that light. And underneath that, you have a mix. So not only is this a microphone, you can also use this to monitor audio. And what do we mean by that? You can hear yourself directly from the microphone, so it's almost zero latency. But you can also hear what's happening in your computer because it's a USB connection. So you can hear how you sound with respect to everything else that's happening. It is really, really interesting. And if you don't like, for example, if I don't like Kevin's voice, I can boost up my voice so I can hear myself clearly when I'm talking. And that's actually a very underrated feature. And last but not least, you can boost the level of the headphones using the third knob. So it's all hardware. There are no smart apps. There are no settings. There's just, yeah, that's all. What you see is what you get. And it's kind of nice.
Yeah, and to top it off, I think the setup took me like less than 5 minutes. It was super easy. And there are just two ports at the back of the microphone, right? So there's the one what you said to plug in headphones to monitor your own audio, and there's the plug for the USB, and
That's it.
that's it.
It's a very well
I,
smartly, I like these kind of dumb devices because we have too many smart devices in our life.
they're smart as far as the simplicity, and then yeah, in terms of the microphone, it's very much old school and analog. Maybe a good mix of both. What do you think of the quality, though, Rowan?
I like the quality quite a lot. When we did compare it to that more expensive mic, which we're going to compare it to in a bit, I think it was clear that this stood up to that pretty well. Um, Pretty low noise, I thought. It is, of course, it's a cardioid, right? It's not a super cardioid; it's a cardioid. So it kind of
Yeah.
picks up audio around here. So it's not like very narrow. So you can still hear me if I do this. You can still hear me if I do this, but you probably can't hear me very well if I do that. So if you go behind the mic, the rejection is much better. And overall, pretty satisfied. And for streaming, man, I mean, you're streaming in usually low bit rates. You're not, but I could even use this for recording music, for example. So
Yeah.
pretty good.
And I'm using it for work actually as well. I'm
Really?
in
I didn't know
Teams
that.
calls. Yeah, I love the mute button. It's super underrated. I don't need to look for that mute in that window, wherever it is. I just go here, mute, I'm done. I'm good to go. Love it. Yeah,
Excellent.
and then at the end of the day when I'm done with this, it is kind of, I wouldn't say in the way, but it is kind of in the middle of your desk setup, right?
Yeah.
At least the way I have it. So I just kind of move it aside, and the arm really helps in that. So I'm happy I went for this streaming set model. So if you're kind of tight on space, at least tabletop space, this makes a lot of sense. You can move it aside. But yeah, you really need to think for yourself whether those $70 is worth it for
Absolutely.
having a boom arm.
But this is one mic. What about other mics? What do you think? How
Yeah.
does this stack up with some other microphones?
We've had a little bit of a history with a couple of microphones, and one of them I think that you've been using for several years now is the Deity V-Mic D3, the most complicated name we have here on the list for
Yeah.
today.
And yeah,
So yeah,
that's the microphone I have up here. I'm going to switch to that while you start off on the microphone.
Right. Yeah. Let me introduce the product a little bit, because interestingly, this product is actually the only one on the list that not only has a complicated name, but also is not available anymore. It was retailing for about $100 to $120, but nowhere to be found. So you can shoot Rowan a message and try to get it off him if he wants to sell it. But otherwise, it's limited edition at the moment. So I don't know if you've been able to switch over, Rowan.
Yes. So now you're hearing me on the DET. What is this? D3 V mic. Yeah, because they also have a Pro, but this is just the non-Pro version. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this one is different, right? This one doesn't get powered by a USB cable or anything. It actually just has batteries. So you need to put in a AAA battery. Is that a single AAA battery, Rowan, by the way?
Yes. So this is old school. It's powered by a AAA battery like this, which I actually just had to replace before this. It was quite a pain to do it. But luckily it lasts, many, many hours. And the thing about this microphone is it has 208 hours of battery life. So you don't have to worry about switching it, but it also makes it a bit more difficult, in fact, I would say, because after a month or so when it goes off, or whatever, 2-3 months, you don't expect it. So the first time it goes off, you really suffer from having to, let's say, recording a piece of A-roll or B-roll, and then you don't hear yourself, and then you have to do it again. So that's quite annoying. I just wish there was like a big bright LED in the front which would say it's on or not. But anyway, that is what it is. It does have a very interesting connectivity method.
And that is?
So there's not USB Type-C, obviously, but it connects using a 3.5 mm jack. But many people don't realize that these jacks are usually dumb. So they have either a TRS, a tip ring sleeve, or a tip ring sleeve.
So it could be that Rowan's microphone died. Let's see if we can get it back.
I don't know what's going on with the Deity, but it's really not performing. But yeah, I muted it for now. And I think maybe it's my camera as well. That's a bit tired of all this. So maybe the camera died and hence the microphone died. But other
Well,
than that,
good thing the product isn't available, right, Ron?
no, it's not the product's fault for sure. I think so this is connected to my camera and the camera is dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing.
Ah,
See, it goes off on its own. So it does work.
there you go. Yep.
So the Deity, let's maybe start again from the top. The Deity V mic, it's 100, 120 euros. It does not sell right now. It's not available for sale. AAA battery with 208 hours of operating time. It has an auto configuring 3.5 millimeter jack, and it has this Rycote style stand which avoids vibrations. So when you actually walk around with it, it does not pick up the noise that goes through the body. It's a nice feature. And the battery switches off automatically when unplugged, which you guys just saw. In case you were not hearing my voice, that was because my camera died. And that's why my microphone switched off as well. So it works.
Live testing.
Real
Okay.
life testing.
So yeah, the Rycote, what's it called, style stand that holds the microphone is nice for when you're moving about. Is it with the microphone? So if you're like into Casey Neistat style vlogs,
Yes.
I don't know, boosted boarding through New York, then that's the type you need.
Yeah, not just that, man. Even if you're just generally walking around, right? Like, for example, if I were to just take it on the street and maybe follow you as you're talking, my
Yeah.
footsteps would probably, cause more sound. And microphones are sensitive, so they pick up stuff they're
Yeah.
presented with. So essentially, yeah,
Okay.
it's not just for Casey Neistat, no. It could also be for
Okay.
DHRME.
We normal people can use it too. Okay. Nice. Shall we move to the next one, Ron?
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Okay. From wired mics, let's go to a wireless mic, and happens to be the most expensive product we have on this list, which is from DJI. And this is something we both have, but we slightly have a different product, although it is the same product. But you want to introduce it a little bit while I connect so that people can hear how it sounds like?
Yeah. So essentially, this is DJI's, I think, first microphone. I may be getting that bit wrong, but it's a very, very interesting microphone because what this is I think Rode came out with it first. So you saw a lot of creators talking about this with, they had the Rode microphones. They were shooting videos. They're shooting A-roll, and what this is basically an evolution of the Rode microphone, and I'm sure DJI won't like saying that, but hey, let's accept Rode was there first. And this actually, it really works for our channel. When we saw it, you're like, hey, this is made for us. And that's simply because you have two microphones in one. And you get kind of, yeah, exactly that thing. And the one we are talking about is this one. So this is a box with two microphones and a transmitter. And what Kevin is showing you is something that has a dual single mic. We'll come to that later. But yeah, this is not a cheap product to begin with, 329 euros. And it does have an internal battery. So there's no AA, AAA nonsense. This is the modern lithium ion battery with that you can recharge using USB Type-C. And the microphones recharge in this cradle. So this is a cradle that can recharge the microphones. And another thing you get in this cradle is also a receiver. So the receiver is at your source device, like a camera or your phone, and then you can have the microphone and walk around and play audio. And it's very, very good. And especially in terms of connectivity, I'm pretty impressed with this, Kevin.
This is how it sounds like. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I do hear you. You're sounding especially good today, Kevin.
So there's two ways, guys, to mount this, right? So you get a little, maybe I can show you that. You get a little magnet.
Maybe
you can still hear me.
Maybe I don't think we can hear you very well, but I can give a voiceover. So what Kevin is showing is like a little magnet, which is a very, very strong magnet. Trust us. I just dropped the microphone just now, and on the way down, it went and attached itself to my chair, which is made of metal. So it didn't even go down. That's how strong the magnet is. And look, that tiny little square on Kevin's hand is basically Hold on, let me put you back, Kevin, full screen. There you go. Yeah, that's a piece of metal, and there's this very strong magnet in it or in the other aspect. So you can just stick it onto any piece of clothing. It works perfectly well. But there's also a clip, an old school clip on the back of it, which you can use. And yeah, it's a kind of a different product from the rest of the products we are using, because I'll be very honest, Kevin, I'm not completely enamored with the quality in terms of the sound of this, but it's very, very usable. And that's the clip we were talking about. You can clip it onto any piece of clothing. But what do you like about it, Kevin?
So, like you said, it was a very nice product for the both of us, right? We just put the receiver onto our camera. We can even plug it into a phone if you're shooting on that, because it comes with a couple of connectors, which maybe you can show on the website. I'm not sure. I don't have it handy right now.
Yeah.
And those connectors, you get a 3.5 millimeter connector, you get a Type-C connector, you get a Lightning port connector, and even a hot shoe mount. So you can actually put it onto a camera.
Yeah.
And what was nice about the product that you're showing is the dual one, right? So for both of us.
Yeah.
Also comes with a dead cat, etc. And so, but the one I have is the solo version. So this one does not come with that fancy charging case. It does come with everything else, so the receiver and the microphone. And the way you charge them is by plugging it in. There is a Type-C port.
Yeah. Yeah, this one.
So you see that. So it's super compact, easy to carry. Battery life is pretty good. We've never really had it die out on us, because especially the one we use, which is yours, Rowan.
Yeah.
We always keep it in the charging case, so it's always juiced up. Yeah. So when we come over and we shoot,
one thing this has that the others don't have, that's very unique and very important, especially with wireless products, is you can actually record on the device. So you can have a recording like as you normally would, that your camera captures the audio and the video through the mic, but you could also separately record audio on the mic in case that connection breaks, in case there's some interference or whatever, your camera dies, you still have audio. So that's a really, really cool feature, which none of the other mics or the not so smart mics have. That's a great feature to have, I must say. Yeah. And this is taking another look at the one Kevin was talking about. That's a single mic and a transmitter combo. And it doesn't have a smart charging cradle, but kind of a pouch.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think one good thing to note about this thing, and some issues we faced in the past, Rowan, is that you need to mount this correctly in terms of clothing, because if your collar or your coat or anything is rubbing up against it, you're going to hear it on the audio and it's going to be bad. Yeah. Or a beard could interfere with it as well.
Can you like give us a preview of what that would sound like?
You want a demo?
Oh, that's there not pleasant.
Go. That was some beard ASMR. No, it was not.
No, not for me. Sorry, I had some another reaction.
Tough crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Yes, so that's the DJI mic. Another thing to mention just before we close out is it's an omnidirectional mic. So unlike the Sennheiser here or the Deity or the one we're going to talk about next, this picks up sound from all directions. So you have to kind of be a bit more careful with that. And on the other hand, if your mic is pointing slightly away, it still captures your sound. I guess that's why it's like that. All right. So that was it. Nothing else to add? Do you want to go to the next one, Kevin?
Let's go to the next one. But I'm going to connect that one.
All right.
So you want to introduce it?
I'm going to put that up on screen, boy.
Nice. Give me a moment.
And this is the Sennheiser MKBHD edition. No, it's the MKE 600. The Sennheiser MKE 600. This is kind of, I would say, the most professional microphone we have. It's also the most, how do I say it? Yeah, it's simply the best microphone we have, to be very honest with you guys, because you can see the price here. This is not a cheap microphone. The DJI is more expensive than this, about 20 euros more, 30 euros more expensive, but you get two microphones for it. And you get all this digital technology and all that. This is just a microphone. It's a shotgun microphone.
Mhm.
And yeah, starting with the price, it's expensive, but there's a reason it's expensive, right?
And the reason is this. Do I sound good?
Oh my God, yeah. Now I'm having some ASMR with you, Kevin.
Nice. You want me
Yes.
to rub my beard up against it,
No,
or
I'm good. Thank you.
no? You're good. Oh,
I'm good.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
essentially, guys, this is it's a professional microphone. It's a high quality microphone, and it. I mean, you can hear how it sounds. This is a really, yeah. This is the kind of the. It's a big boy, so it's long
Mm-hmm.
and hard and very big, and that's why it makes the kind of right sounds and noises. Uh, yeah. Um, Kevin's going all the way here, and essentially it also makes it that it's a very dumb microphone, and that also comes with some downsides. And maybe Kevin, you want to talk about the downsides?
Yeah. So first of all, it is a larger microphone, right? And it comes with a AA battery, normal penlight battery. It does fortunately have an on-off switch, so that's a good thing. You know when it's on, you know when it's off. The battery life is less than the Deity though. If but then again, I really can't remember the last time I changed the battery though, Rowan.
Yeah.
It's been going on like as if it has unlimited battery. So yeah, but on paper it's 150 hours of recording. So
Okay.
that's that's that one. Yeah, the other downside is you need a special cable if you're going to use it with Apple products. But you're going to have to explain a little bit, Rowan, how that works because the way I've plugged it in is directly into the camera with a 3.5 millimeter
Yeah.
uh, jack or cable, and that was just the one that was included, and that one works.
Yeah. No. So this is that's basically because Apple's yeah, the tip ring sleeve thing is a bit different. That's all I'm gonna say. But I mean, Apple doesn't give a shit anymore because it's all AirPods now, right? There are no ports to be plugging into. Yeah, that's the one. So the one we have now, this is a standard analog thing, which was compatible with all devices in the world till Apple and Google decided to make their own standards. Um, and other than that, I think the good thing about this is also it has a high pass filter, doesn't it? If I'm not
It does.
mistaken.
It has a wind cut or a no, not a wind cut. It's a what do you call it? A
Low cut filter. Yeah.
low cut filter. That's the one.
Yeah. So it can, you can just, and again, it's a physical switch, no app here. You can just turn it on to kind of turn off the lower end sounds and noises. And it has a low battery indicator, which is extremely underrated. Deity. Um, and yeah, it's solid. It's really solid. I think you can hurt people with this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you could probably
So,
hurt people more with the profile and the boom arm. But I don't know why I'm talking
but
about it.
definitely good self-defense materials to have at home as well. So it's a double use case.
Yeah,
While you're podcasting, you're still safe.
yeah, and it has an XLR cable for really professional, high quality audio. You can run that
Yep.
cable many meters, and you won't get noise, as opposed to a small piddly, 3.5 millimeter cable, which after a meter or so you start getting a lot of noise. So that's important to know. There's shielding in an
Yep.
XLR cable, and it's a super cardioid, just like the
Hmm.
Deity. So it's very good at noise rejection. And
Yep.
I think we kind of covered the MKE 600, didn't we?
Yeah, I
There,
think we did. There's no monitoring on this though. That's maybe something we missed on the DJI mic, by the way. You can monitor it.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. And maybe we're stepping back into the previous product, but maybe just to top it off right there, you see the port for out, but also a headphones so you can monitor how you sound. Anyway, that was just a quick addition.
Cool. And then we had one last surprise for the microphones.
Yes, we did. Shall I switch to that microphone and
Go for it, man.
we can talk about how it sounds?
Yes, it's a surprise microphone, and we really want you guys to guess what that is. You see Kevin's hands moving. He's doing things. You don't know what he's doing, but he's doing some stuff. Kevin is getting
I've
handsy.
done it. I am now on the final bonus microphone.
Wow, that's terrible.
What might it be?
I'm not sure if anybody's following the live stream right now, but oh man. So essentially what I can hear you like is you're in a like really hollow sounding room.
Well, it isn't exactly empty and hollow, but indeed it's not exactly acoustically treated.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're hearing a room. That's right.
Yes. And that room audio is coming from drum roll.
The MacBook Pro.
Yes. So in a pinch, you can also use your MacBook Pro's microphone, I guess.
I mean, I hope it doesn't sound terrible, right? So it's still probably usable in a pinch, like you said.
Yeah.
But maybe one more in the family of the MacBook category. I'm going to switch to my iPhone.
No.
Let's see how that sounds.
Let's do that.
Now I'm on the iPhone.
Oh my God, that's so much better. That is so much better. But you also like your mouth is closer to it, right? So, and this is, I think, a good tip for creators and stuff. If you want to use a microphone, the placement of the microphone is often more important than the quality of it.
Yeah.
Say something, Kevin.
Nice. Popsicle.
Ice.
Icicle. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hey, we have Shutter closed in the chat. Hello. He says the echo is too much this time. Yeah, that's probably on the MacBook Pro test. Yeah. Yeah, so this one makes a huge difference, right? And that's what you see a lot of people, going up to people on the streets with their iPhones and just interviewing people, and it sounds pretty decent. And that's what we've said in the past too. iPhones have good microphones, so definitely use it if you've got nothing lying around or you don't have budget to buy anything. Perfectly fine.
Yeah. And if you're a content creator, I mean, there's just really no excuse to do anything these days. I remember when we started, Kevin, we had like a Zoom H1 and stuff like that, and it was not so easy to get good audio. We still had an iPhone back then, and that's what we ended up using for a long time. So, guys, no excuse for you to not create content except you don't have time for it or you're not interested in it, which is fine. But if you're actually if you need ideas and maybe a personality, that's also optional because I have no personality, but I have a YouTube channel. Or you need an amazing beard. But gear is not a limitation to start a YouTube channel. So good luck. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you next week on live.
Same place, same time?
Same place, same time. See you guys.
All right. Namaste.
Oh, yeah. Namaste. We do that. Namaste.